And now, since we have set our working directory to be in this folder, again, I'll show you, set working directory, choose. We're in the folder that I created. You might have to go to desktop and open it from there. And since you downloaded this welcome to r.csv file into this folder, when you run that line, it should pull up this data frame that you downloaded. Now you can answer that question. This next section is showing us how to install packages. So once you run this line of code, you should get a bunch of text down here showing up that tells you that you have installed this new package. And in order to activate the package, you have to do the library line. Otherwise, this mtcars dataset will not be showing up. But once you've run both of these two lines, these lines should pull up this, basically it's just a practice built-in data set that's allowing us to see how we can make plots. So go ahead and run these lines of code now, and you'll see, hopefully, you should see these plots show up. Go ahead and answer these questions. And do note that in some of the practice questions here and here, it's asking you to comment out your answer. Again, in order to comment out your answer, put this hashtag first. Because if you didn't have the hashtag, it would show up like this. And that would be a problem later when you try to save it because it would be confused why you just have a line of something that it thinks is code, but it's not actually working. So be sure to comment it out. And again, we're just going to be downloading these. If you get this note, just go ahead and say no. It won't hurt anything if you don't restart R before downloading it. And now we're working with this data set again. And this is showing you how to add columns to the objects that you're making. So we can use this mutate function to add a new column to mtcars. So you're not, well, you are making a new object with this new column. So before we just had mtcars, which I turned into an object so that I could open it here and look at it. And this is what is in our practice data set. And here you're making a new object called mtcars2 from what you had before. But this line mutate is going to create a new column. That's this power to weight column, which is how we are defining it. So now you can look at that down here if you choose. I prefer to look at it in this second tab, but that's just me. This is a different way to filter. So this is creating a new object again from our previous object, but it's going to filter only cars that have an MPG above 20. So run this line, and now you can see either looking at it down here or looking at it here, only cars above the 20 miles per gallon are showing up. This note I just made as a reminder that you can do this without making a new object, but with this example, we're just making new objects so that you can see how they're changing as you apply these different functions to them. So these lines here, again, it's just showing you different ways that you can filter your data, select certain data. And for the practice 7, we just want you, again, use what was already typed up as a template for summarizing it differently. So I'm going to, instead of grouping by cylinders, I'm going to group by whatever this drat column is. So you can just change that to whatever you're interested in seeing. Maybe mean sill. So change that here and here. And now run it and see what happens. You'll get another data frame that now has this information. I think a few people were kind of confused by this, but basically we just want you to explore what happens when you use different columns to organize, filter, summarize your data. And this last section here is just showing you that for all of the functions that we're working with, if you type a question mark before the function and then hit the command return, it'll pull up this description that kind of explains how each function works. So I hope that this is helpful. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're still struggling with this assignment. I'm happy to sit down with anybody and talk through it because we are going to continue using R for future assignments. So I really want you guys to all feel comfortable just running lines of code before we move forward. All right, I think that's all I've got for now. Good luck.